just want to know. I just want to know if doing an entire quiz on inside joke stuff is going to leave the audience engaged enough in all of this, where there's going to be anybody left at the end of this. I'm just concerned.
Welcome back to Bread and Butter, everybody, where it is episode 50, and we're serving up the basics for Hearthstone improvement. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, Tito. Tito, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Doc. How are you?
I'm doing good. And we have a couple returning guests today. Just a Guy.
Yes, I am just a guy.
And MattAtArms. How are you guys doing?
I'm good. Welcome. Glad to be back. Congratulations on 50 episodes.
I just wanted to show up because I didn't believe it was actually happening, but
right
here it is nonetheless. Just amazing.
Like, I mean, you posted it yourself, Tito. Like, not a lot of podcasts make it to 50. So, congratulations.
Thank you. It's the ones we do listen to have made it, but yeah, it's very It's very hard to even keep a podcast going, as we found out. So I'm glad to be here, and I'm looking forward to more.
Yeah, just keep in mind also, like 2 more weeks, you can now say you've done a year of episodes because you do it every week, right? So
yeah, that's a crazy thing to think about.
I think we can say that next week, because even though it's episode 51, we took the Warshak episode and broke it up into 2 because I couldn't edit.
True.
I couldn't edit out all the swears in time to get it in time out there for 1 week.
He was very fun to talk to, but oh boy, howdy. I mean, and then also the episode you did with Dano, that was like 3 episodes, right? So
yes.
Like technically you've done it.
Yeah.
Hey, not everybody can do a 5-hour Formula 1 episode. Don't worry about it.
Hey, you know what? I regret nothing, and I regret everything with that episode. I don't know why that was 3.5 hours long. Oh my God.
That was such a, like, that's a favorite part of like Hearthstone podcast lore for me.
Yeah, they just had the first ever F1 event in Vegas yesterday.
It was shockingly fun to watch the actual race. The stuff leading up to it was a complete poop show.
Yeah.
But
manhole
the race
covers
itself
popping up during the actual trial runs. Yeah.
First practice lasting all of 10 minutes. Yeah. That was great. Anyway, we're not talking about Formula 1 on this podcast. I'm not doing it
for an hour or so and then get into Hearthstone.
We could talk about the Vegas race because it was a very good race, but fortunately, we should talk about Hearthstone and everything else going on.
And my favorite part about that F1 race was the fact that the person that won the race was like, I cannot stand that we're here in Vegas. This is stupid. There's so much going on. He wins.
Yes.
Viva Las Vegas. Let's go, baby. But
no, it was a fun, good race, and Max had a good time. So it was well worth the consternation all weekend. So
this is the last thing I'll say about F1. I am upset that they fined the Ferrari driver that broke his car over the manhole cover.
Yeah, 10-place grid penalty for that. And I'm like, it's so bad. It's so bad.
Hey,
but
avoiding the manhole covers is part of the race.
Well, it would have popped up at some point. Well, I'm glad it popped up in the first 10 minutes of practice.
Yeah.
Actually, the only thing I watched of it was apparently part of a broadcast on the news where they showed that they had hired a ton of extra security just to yell at people who were walking through like this tunnel area that it was adjacent to the racetrack and screamed at them to hurry up and move on so that they didn't actually look at the race unauthorized. I'm like, that's fantastic. All the money spent on these people just showing up to scream at you.
Yeah, where do I sign up for that job?
I think you can work concerts too. It's probably the same gig.
All right, but Matt does bring up a good point. We are here to talk about Hearthstone. So now that he's about to take a drink, Matt, what have you been doing this week in Hearthstone?
A lot. The set came out, and I've been playing a lot of it because guess what? This set rules. This set is so good. I'm not a big fan of 6-set metas, but I'm loving this 6-set meta. I've been playing basically Highlander, class, and I think I've played about 9 of them. So there's about 2 classes I haven't played the Highlander deck yet. It's really good. Reno's a bonkers card. Like Mage and Warlock didn't get any Highlander support. They just got Reno, and Highlander, Mage, and Highlander Warlock are very good. Been playing a little Twist because Twist is coming back next month. Thankfully, I complained about that enough on
Yep.
a podcast. I'm taking credit for it, even though it probably wasn't me. Just playing a bunch of standard in Twist because standard is really good, and arena here and there because also arena is fantastic. Fantastic job in arena. It's just so much better now. So I've been playing too much Hearthstone. So that's what I've been doing.
No such thing. And I think that all I think of now is when you guys are complaining about Twist is the Arrested Development meme. There are dozens of us. Dozens.
Yeah, me and Sheep, and that's about it.
Yeah. Just a guy. What have you been doing inside Hearthstone?
Oh, I've been just sort of burying myself in the meta. It is so much fun. I throw an arena run in here and there that I'll come back to and just have a good time there. I just finally, man, I think it took me 7 attempts from Diamond 6 to finally get to Diamond 5 where I can at least camp and start playing around with different decks. Mostly playing Dragon Druid to get to that point. I didn't get Reno. I finally did craft him because I felt left out not being able to play a lot of the decks that apparently Matt is bogarting. But having a good time with it. It's just, you know what? I've always said that you can tell if it's a healthy meta when you don't run into the same 2 or 3 decks all the time, when you run into a deck that, you know, even when you're playing on ladder and you're climbing up into diamond and trying to work your way to legend, that you're like, oh man, I haven't seen this deck. And actually, this is actually a pretty good deck. And then, you know, I'll turn around and start throwing together something that I just lost to and wanted to play around with. I did that with, oh, good Lord, the rogue deck that resummons all of the ogres over and over and over and over, and irritating as that is. Unfortunately, when I play it, I can't seem to pull it off the way it always works when I run into it. But it's just been a blast. It's been a lot of fun. So yeah, really an expansion that has this sort of feeling to it that you then sort of look at the cards and you look at the decks you can build and you have fun too. It's just got a really good emotion that goes along with it. Not honestly, since Nathria, I haven't had sort of the feeling of an expansion the way Nathria was until this one. This is a lot of fun. And just for the record, I did suggest a Wild West expansion about 4 years ago. So I'm not saying it's due to me, but I do have cards I made back then that were badly created cards that would have fit perfectly into this expansion.
Awesome. Tito, I think you're muted, my man.
How about yourself, Doc? What have you been up to?
Yeah, so I've been playing a lot of Standard because just like everyone else has said, Standard's amazing right now, and I just feel like every new expansion that's come out recently, it's just like, oh, it's a great time to play Hearthstone. Oh, it's a great time to play Hearthstone. And you know what? Again, it's a great time to play Hearthstone no matter what part of the game you want to play. Like, I'm still having fun in BGs. I like anomalies. I know not everybody does. I'm almost 6K in BGs. With Standard, once the new set launched, I started playing Snake Warlock. Just because that was kind of the degenerate broken thing, and it was very clear that was going to get touched. So I wanted to play with the broken thing before it was gone. But I've been playing a lot of Dragon Druid, and Dragon Druid is just so much fun. There's so much stupid value generation in that deck, and I just love playing with big old dragons or dinosaurs. So yeah, it's just been a great time. Arena's on my list of Hearthstone chores to do because I haven't played Arena in a long time. But yeah, Hearthstone's great. Tito, what have you been doing inside Hearthstone?
I've been playing so much Hearthstone. I'm playing mostly Standard. I know there's Arena and other things that are good, but Battlegrounds I like, but it's just been Standard for me. I'm in a weird spot because I'm at a place where I want to try everything, but I also don't want to tank my rank. I came into Legend at a decent rank, and I've gone down. I'm probably around, I think, 5,000 right now. I was up 4,000, 3,000, and I've been dropping. So I'm kind of at the point where I'll say, you know what, whatever. I'll play whatever deck I want to, and then I'll lose 600 ranks. And I'll be like, maybe I don't want to play whatever. And I switch it up. I played a lot of Paladin. But so now what I've decided to do is I'm going to work on my THL decks, because that's coming up real soon. So at least I have to branch out and play other things besides, you know, the limited scope that I am on. I'm starting to settle on a roster of what I might bring at least week 1, but there's a lot of fun decks. And then today I had the idea of, I want to go back to Earthen Paladin as I made a Highlander, not almost pure Paladin where I'm still trying to refine it. So I think I've kind of given up on my reg now, but we've the concept is you get the Mirage guy. So I'm hoping to like you get Mirages and then you can get more of those earthen generators and then you get the tiers and tier and all that. Matt, if you're interested, I could throw it your way. But I put the Countess in the ETC because you might need that later and a couple other things. But it's almost pure and it gets there pretty quickly. Working on iterating it. It's a lot of fun. But it is interesting that everyone seems to be loving the meta. Everybody but some people. I know looking on Twitter, Pocket Train is not liking the meta, and he's got some big, but he's also got a lot of pressure on him because he's got the Worlds coming up in a few weeks. And he's like, I wish I could get into it, but I can't. But then you have the Kibblers that are like, holy heck, I'm having so much fun. So I find it very interesting where we are with this, but overall, I'm having a blast.
What's his complaint about the meta? I haven't dug into it looking. There's always people who are unhappy. It just goes hand in hand with playing the game. But I was even sort of taking a shallow dive into Reddit, and I found positive, encouraging, uplifting comments on Reddit, which was just terrifying. I had no idea that even existed.
Is Reddit okay?
No.
Did someone check on them?
Don't go to Reddit.
Here's the thing. After the snake nerf happened, like the hotfix for the snake, I went on Reddit looking for salt for the show because we discussed the salt in the Hearthstone meta. Everybody was positive about the snake nerf. Like everybody's like, "Oh, this is a good nerf."
I read a post today where somebody just, non-ironically, which I had to sort of wonder, wait a second, you got to make sure you're reading this correctly. But they talked about what a great job the devs did and how they put in so much work and so much effort in coming up with a new expansion as often as they release, and how reacting to sort of the things that they do need to address and balance as quickly as they did after the expansion came out, like Sneck. It was just impressive. They were happy about it. They were enjoying it. They really wanted to sort of make a point of saying, hey, these guys work hard. The art, the voice lines, the text that goes along with every card that's just, my kids go and sit down and they're like, oh, I got to do card art. I got to do descriptions. I got to come up with all the lines for the cards that are just funny as hell sometimes. And you're just like, look, there's actually somebody out there who noticed. It's really nice to see.
And to be fair to Pocket Train, go ahead, Matt.
No, the voice line of the set is like no take mandible. That is like such a good voice line. That's like the one voice line from the set I will remember forever, and it's no take mandible. No take mandible. It's so good.
Yeah. But to follow up too, Pocket wasn't negative. He just said that it's bothering. I'm gonna read the tweet because we don't want to put him in a bad light. No. He says it's bothering me that I don't enjoy this new expansion so far. It seems like everyone else seems to. Seems like a brilliant set for casual gameplay, but looking towards Worlds, this doesn't seem to be an overly skill testing meta once again so far. Yeah. I tweeted at him. I'm like, I found that interesting because like people like Kibler and stuff, I really like. I love the set. And he says he responded to me. He's like, yeah, I'm not a fan, but I do probably think it's overall good. I'm just frustrated. I can't enjoy it like other people right now, and I hope that changes. But he's also in a place where he's looking to win, and he's trying to find those advantages and things. So when it's a lot more of a fun meta than maybe necessarily a skill testing meta, I can see that.
How you feel is not right or wrong. You can't be wrong because you don't enjoy something. You can go see a movie and say, man, I just really didn't like that. And everybody else thinks you're crazy. It's not wrong. I mean, there's nothing weird about somebody not enjoying it. It's just, everybody's got a perspective, and he might have sort of a different means at hand that he's trying to work on that not everybody else is sort of plugged into. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to like it. It's just, it's good to see that overall the majority of people seem to think it's a really positive, good expansion.
Yeah. The thing is, the meta feels wide open. Like you feels like you can literally just about do anything and it would be solid. Like, especially with the Reno decks, especially with like we know Naga DH is probably like honestly the best competitive deck. Like if you can figure it out, it's a very skill testing, challenging deck to play. But also like everything else is wide open. There isn't anything else that is really big of an outlier anymore at this point. Or at this,
and that's the sign of a healthy meta. When you could queue up almost any class and even multiple desks. Heck, I was amazed that Aggro Paladin is actually a very top tier, high ranking competitive deck and doesn't use one card from the new meta.
I think it uses two, but anyway. But also, like, Pocket Train, his job now is to figure out the best 4-deck Conquest lineup for Worlds. So, like, he's trying to figure out the big picture. And that's a lot of work, especially in a brand new meta like this. Like, the last time I remember, like it was almost like this was Hearthstone Championships. It was Hunter Races Championship, where, like, they literally dropped the set on us. And then they had, oh, by the way, Worlds is in Taiwan, like, next week. You know what I mean? And that ended up being one of my favorite World Championships because, like, they played Reform unironically, you know, because they thought it was really good at the time. So, you know, it's one of those things where, yeah, like, if you're not having fun, it's fine. You can take a break, wait till things get refined. You know, especially unless you're competing at Worlds in, like, a month. So
you can still take a break and just show up at Worlds and go,
yeah, show up at Worlds and be like,
let's see what happens.
Yeah, it's like, what? Oh, I got to submit decks. Let's do this. Good enough.
Just all you do is autofill decks.
Here.
Just autofill your decks off of the creator, and you're done.
You have an objection, Tito?
I have 2 objections. Matt, you said that the Spell Shooter Demon Hunter is a very high skill testing deck. I have to disagree because I'm actually having success with it, so it can't actually be that skill testing.
Tito,
and
Tito,
yeah.
Counter argument. You're very good at Hearthstone.
Well, thank you. And just the guy you said is people have the right to their opinions, and I almost agree, except for all the people that decided before they saw the movie that the Marvels was going to be bad, and decided that was bad, went into it and said it was bad because it was actually a good movie. If you didn't already decide it was bad,
see, but that's different. So, now you're not talking about their honest opinion of the movie. Now you're talking about an agenda that goes into their apparently formulated public opinion of things. That's different.
I enjoy the Marvels, especially the fact that it was under 2 hours long. That was the best part of that movie. Quite honestly, it was a good movie, but also it was under 2 hours, which is really good for a Marvel movie.
And one of the things I saw about it was people like, well, you had homework. You had to watch 2 different 10-episode series. I was like, no, they literally summed up those 2 series in about 30 seconds of exposition. They were like, I got my powers by walking through a witch thing, and I got my powers because I have this bangle. Great, moving on.
Oh, I've rewatched WandaVision twice now. It's so good. It's so, every episode is a different, it's so good.
Also, Loki
was fantastic.
Was so good.
Tito and I were just talking about it. It's episode 6. I haven't seen
season 2.
Oh my God. The way they wrapped it up was incredible.
Yeah. Like, it's one of the best pieces of, like, Marvel content out there in general.
That's exactly how I thought at the end of season 1. Mm-hmm. I just haven't had the time to watch season 2 yet.
It's better than season 1.
That's okay.
Yeah. It makes season 1 better too, is actually part
it does.
I'm weird though that I've liked just about everything that has been in the MCU. I know people were like, "Oh, I didn't like Falcon and the Winter Soldier." I enjoyed it. It wasn't the best thing. By mathematics, there has to be a worse thing when you have a group of things, right? So I enjoyed it. I've enjoyed everything.
I'm the guy who walked out of the middle of Civil War.
I didn't
like that movie.
Did you really?
Yeah. After the like, I thought the movie should have ended at in the airport scene where everybody was fighting, and then the movie continued. I'm like, oh God, I can't take any more of this. I got to go.
Wow.
So when Civil War first came out, because like I like the Marvel comics and everything.
Marvel Movie Talk is brought to you by
my biggest complaint,
Disney Plus.
My biggest complaint was that they didn't deal with Captain America the way that they did in the comics. Because granted, he was important later on, and we got some cool like exposition and tying up his storyline with his love interest and everything. But for those that don't know, in the comics in Civil War, Captain America dies after the Civil War is technically over. Just the person who pulled the trigger didn't know. And I was just upset that didn't happen because at the time, I felt like that would have been like a big gut punch that would have made it feel more real.
Mm.
But I'm glad it didn't happen now with everything that has come out since then.
Yeah, and it's like there's so much stuff in the comics, and they did so many different reboots in the comics too that like you decide, well, where is the canon, where it isn't, and with very few exceptions, I never hate the fact that a book and a movie diverge. Like the Jurassic Park, the movies and the books were different, and all that. So
don't get me started on that, Tito. I have opinions.
Sure, but like as long as the movie tells a good story, I'm happy. But Doc, what have you been doing outside of Hearthstone to get the show back on the rails?
Yeah, so I've been to 2 different concerts this week. I went and saw This Wild Life down in Salt Lake City. They're like a 2-person, like folk, like pop punk, like rock kind of. They're my brother's favorite group, so I went with my brother and my girlfriend and saw Broadside and a band from Chicago called Worry Club, and they were amazing. It was really fun to see them. And then on Friday, I saw my favorite band, Dury, who Dano from Squelch also listens to, and that was a fantastic time. And then yesterday, I played some Commander with MattAtArms, Gator, and some other people from the Squelch Discord, and that was fun. Commander is a great time, and I didn't die when I probably should have, and it led to me doing some fun dinosaur things, because dinosaurs are really fun.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to kill anybody on the table, and I chose the guy who stole my commander, as opposed to the guy that was ramping up quietly and was about to kill us all.
Well, aside from that, Matt, what else have you been up to in real life?
In real life, lots of work. Work is busy. Yeah, we're trying to get stuff done before the holiday, and then so that we can kind of not think about it over the holiday, and then come back to it after the holiday and being like, what happened? What were we doing? Anyway, doing that. And also, yeah, I went to, other than Commander with Doc, I went to draft on Friday. Did an Ixalan draft. Drafted a green, black, and blue deck, and won 1-1 and had fun. Had a good time. Magic is a very good card game. Other than that, just kind of living my life, doing things, playing a bunch of Hearthstone, because mainly most of my free time is Hearthstone and Magic. So I've been doing a lot of card game things.
And if you want to get to know a little bit more about Matt, we published an infographic about Matt, and you'll find out some interesting facts there.
Yeah, and also F1 on delay, because I'm not staying up to 3 a.m. to watch the race. So,
Just the Guy. How about yourself? What have you been up to outside of the game?
Oh, I've pretty much just now recovered from the BlizzCon weekend, which I'm sure you guys have already talked out, but boy, that was a lot. And just having to put the house back together, because I had a nice enough time with a group of people that came to visit that were in town, which Doc was one of them. It was a nice time. It was really kind of different to be able to finally have everybody in person, that you only see the top half of them on a camera like this. So that was kind of cool. That was a really good time. I think everybody had a nice time. The weekend was amazing. Being able to finally see my daughter walk out on a stage, which was something that obviously I had been tipped off to early enough on, and they worked their butts off. I can't tell you how long they rehearsed for that. The month plus that they went over everything, working on the opening ceremonies and the panel that she did and everything else, and seeing how much effort goes into it was just incredible. And watching how it paid off and the presentation and everything went perfectly. It was exactly what I expected. Watching my daughter walk out in front of, 1 million people was actually pretty much what you would expect. So that was pretty cool. But otherwise, yeah, then life returns and the holidays are coming up and Thanksgiving's right around the corner, and just trying to figure out, do you order the pre-made Thanksgiving from one of the places instead of having to cook everything yourself? Do you go through all the trouble? It's like that's always sort of the difficult thing to sort out this time of year. So we're still trying to figure that out right now.
I have bad news for you, but if you haven't ordered the pre-cooked thing yet, you probably aren't going to be able to.
No, there's still time. Local grocery down the street does a turkey stuffing, potatoes, couple of other sides, gravy, cranberries, $69. I'm like,
perfect.
I'm like,
do it.
And then just do 2 or 3 of the dishes that you like that are. My wife does a sausage stuffing that's just incredible, just absolutely amazing. We've done it every year. It goes into this sort of cast iron pumpkin that we've always had, that my mom gave us when we got married. So God knows, that's a long time ago. we used to do a delicious corn casserole until one day on Thanksgiving that Cora was sick many, many years ago when she was little, and she threw it up into a sink. And Dad had to clean it up from the sink.
That's never happening again. Yes.
I think there was a post on Twitter a while ago about what's the one food that you threw up and never ate again. And that's hers. It's that corn casserole. I don't eat it anymore because I had to clean it up. So yeah. So there are some dishes that you look forward to. Sadly, that was a good one. We just don't go there anymore.
I'm kind of in the opposite boat as far as the
You only eat food you've thrown up?
Yes. No, I made
it would be the opposite of what I just said.
I mean, it's pre-chewed. It's just easy. Just go slide right back down.
Oh, I can't eat that. I've never thrown it up before. That sounds awful.
That does sound awful. And for me, that was Apple Jacks, but because they were soggy. So we had put in for the pre-order thing from the supermarket, and we're going to get, $90, feed 10 people, whatever it is. But we've gotten so much. My wife has decided to make so much stuff, and that she came today. Is like, maybe we should just cancel that and just get a pre-cooked turkey and then, throw that in. So I think we're going to be doing that. I'm going to be making some chorizo stuffing, which is a very Portuguese thing, which has been requested, and it's going to be a blast. We're having my parents up, my stepdaughter and her boyfriend and her kid, and so my grandkid, and it'll be busy. But we're having it on Saturday rather than Thursday, to make it a little easier. So, it'll be fun. But outside of that, life's been just normal. I've been working, doing the, yard work, taking care of the animals, nothing crazy. But,
see, we have landscapers now. See, we moved out here in California and there's an HOA. So now I just wave to the guys who come by and do the bushes and the grass and the leaf blowers and everything. I enjoy the hell out of that. I don't know what people are thinking who, they can't stand to retire because they just got to keep working and working. Oh, man. No, don't miss that at all.
Yeah, like I moved to an apartment like last year, and like not having to deal with any of that crap anymore has been great.
Yep, don't miss it one bit.
So 2 things. First thing, I didn't know you could like order like ready to go like Thanksgiving stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's mostly probably just because I'm come from a very small town, and so that just wasn't a thing where I lived, and then I just didn't know of its existence. And second thing, have they started to blow the asbestos around? JustAGuy?
Yeah, out here, yeah. So, dude, it ain't funny. I mean, believe me. So we're out in Orange County, and the 2 of the largest freestanding wooden structures in the entire world are just a few blocks from here. They're the World War II era Tustin blimp hangars. And there's an amazing documentary you can watch on YouTube on them about the construction. They put these up, and it ended up being towards the end of the war. And they built these things in like 9 months. And it's just an amazing engineering feat that they put these together. And they housed blimps in them that they would actually do like coast watching during the war, because they obviously were concerned about potential invasion on the West Coast that thankfully never happened. But it was just, for whatever reason, one of these hangars is owned by the city. The other one they didn't want. So it's been sort of left unattended on this military base that's fenced off for years and years and years. And all of a sudden, a week or so ago, it goes up at 1:00 in the morning. And they're still investigating because they think, obviously, they're concerned that arson is a reasonable expectation. Thanks, B. B's toy gloves off. But it just, obviously the structure being freaking 80 years old is full of heavy metals and asbestos, and it just blew and flew all over the place. And we got chunks of this stuff outside the house. So they closed the schools for 4 or 5 days. And then they're like, hey, you know what? If you're going to go out, maybe wear a mask. And I'm like, wait a second. You're closing the schools, but you're not evacuating anybody? How much asbestos is an okay amount of asbestos? That's what I'm Googling. It's like, asbestos is bad. And you're like, wait, all these people who worked in construction, putting in insulation that was asbestos for years, and you're like, oh, they developed cancer. Okay, how much asbestos? How many years? How much cancer? What are we talking about? Because there's hunks of stuff outside that I don't have the ability to analyze. And they're like, oh, they're sending people out to do the cleanup. And I'm like, they're not cleaning up enough of anything yet. So yeah, my wife is insisting we move. So it's like, this is a weird time, but yeah, it's been weird. And just the loss of the hangar is, you can see the videos all over social media. This thing was 17 stories high and 1,000 feet long. It's just an incredible structure. And the thing's gone now, except for the two ends of it that they're going to have to knock down. And I had nothing to do with it, just for the record.
That's what a guilty person would say.
Well, speaking of guilty people, we have a segment today. We have a very special segment, and we have a bumper for that. JustAGuy with the breaking news. JustAGuy, hit us up.
So I was just given the ability to release this information that I've, like I mentioned earlier, I do sort of have some knowledge of things that are going on behind the scenes with Hearthstone that I have to be careful not to say anything about, because I don't want to do anything that's going to get me in trouble or anybody else unhappy. But I've known for a while now that the primary controller of all things Arena is actually in my house. My daughter obviously has a fairly public visibility. You saw her at BlizzCon. You've seen her talk about things over the years, and obviously she's got some significant visibility in the game. Sage is a genius. Sage hides out from social media because it turns out that that's a pain in the ass to have to deal with. So he's about as invisible as can be when it comes to the actual process of what he does and who he is. He actually was a little bit disappointed at BlizzCon that when people were coming up to the autograph signing, they didn't know who he was. And it was like, how were they supposed to know who you are? You don't post anywhere. You don't guest on anything. And that's sort of by choice right now. So I understand. But he's been the driving force behind trying to reform Arena into something that apparently he was very successful in doing. It's now as beloved as it's been in years. The changes he's made to the draft and the balance effort he's puts into the cards, the fact that you were able to actually access the expansion cards long before the release, engage so many new people into coming over to Arena and playing a run and finding out that it's just a blast. And obviously, my entire existence is based on attempting to promote my kids and live vicariously through their lives. So being able to see him do something that was so successful and everybody really reacted so well to it, and being able to actually say here that, you know what, he's the reason primarily. He's the one who came up with the work. He's the one who came up with the ideas and changes. And you can see for yourself by jumping into Arena how effective and positive the work that he's done is. And knowing that that was him is really just incredible. There's nothing about Sage that is a step behind Cora other than the fact that he's 2 years behind her and joining the team. So keep an eye, because there's even more to come when it comes to him. I don't have any more children that I can line up onto the team at this point. I am willing to adopt if the right opportunity comes along. But as far as Sage goes, that you're going to hear more from him in time. You're going to see more of him, I'm sure, because that'll become something he's more comfortable with. But Arena is just sort of the tip of the iceberg as to the stuff you can see that he's been working on.
And it actually came at a really good time, because I know that up until the week before the expansion, when this change announced, there's been a lot of dissatisfaction with Arena. In fact, a lot of Arena streamers have been moving away because the meta that was there, if you didn't have a Titan, it was just you were kind of dead and all that. Like there was a downshift in Arena engagement, and this couldn't have come at a better time.
Well, you can see with the Caverns of Time expansion that they were at least trying to turn their attention to Arena. They were trying to do some things that they hadn't done before. They wanted to try and open it up and check some possibilities and see what they can do. They're looking at modes like Twist that they hadn't really done things for, and they're trying to mess around with things to see what works. So you don't know for sure what's going to work. You don't always have everything right when it sort of has to debut. And Arena was really one of those things that I'm sure I used to play it once in a while, just because it was like, do I want to buy a pack for 100 or do I want to take a risk at 150 gold for an Arena run and maybe get a pack cheaper? So, and it was fun to do, but sometimes it was aggravating. it's totally different now. The feel of it is different. The play style is different, and I'm sure there's more to come. They're going to do different things with it going forward. So I think there's a lot there that if people listening right now haven't given it a shot in a while, they really should.
100%.
All right. Well, it's time to get to the meat of the story here. And so originally we were supposed to have Dragon Rider on tonight, but she's a little under the weather. She should be here next week because we're going to have a recap of all the fundamentals we've gone over so far before we move on to the next thing in her next episode. But I have a quiz that I was going to give. We were going to have teams, but instead we're going to have Doc versus JustAGuy versus MattAtArms. Now,
those are teams.
Teams of one.
They're people. Now, the scoring will be arbitrary. I will kind of make it up as I go along. We have 3 categories. The first one is very specific to bread and butter. The second one is to our sister podcast that we are part of a family with. And then the other one is just general Hearthstone trivia. So, Doc, you usually have a 20-sided die with you, right?
Yeah, but I don't right now.
I have several over here.
All right. Well,
I haven't put away my dice from Magic last night. So,
all right. Can you give me a roll for each person, and the person with the lowest roll will go first?
Sure thing. It says I'm going to roll for Doc. Actually, I'll roll for myself first because I'm here. I got a natural 20.
Nice.
All right. Roll for Doc. 6. Roll for JustAGuy. 12.
I just want to know what an unnatural 20 is, because a natural 20 implies the existence of an unnatural 20.
It basically means a 20 with modifiers. So if you have something that gives your dice +2.
I understood what it meant, Tito. I played I played D&D before you were born. You got to lean into the joke a little bit.
You are the only person. I am the only person here you probably cannot say that to, because I have been playing. You're only a couple years older than me.
My ass, I'm a couple years older than you. We've gone over this several times. I'm more than a decade older than you. I started playing D&D when I was 10.
He was playing with Gary Gygax at the time.
Gary and I were absolute buds. He actually, I tell you what, he said, you know what, we should do a D&D convention. He says, what do you think we should call it? I went, yeah, you know what, that's a good idea. Let me think about it. He says, I think I'm going to call it D&D Con. I went, no, it's in Geneva, Wisconsin. We'll call it Gen Con. And he went, oh, that's a better name. We'll go with that.
Fair enough.
Amazing.
Yeah. You heard it here first. JustAGuy is old.
I hope Gary Gygax doesn't
He's
listen
dead
to the
now.
phone.
Well, he can't now. I think he passed away a few years ago.
He probably doesn't listen.
And he did not die of asbestos poisoning, despite what you heard.
Thank you.
Or mesothelioma, which is I think everybody knows that commercial.
If you or your loved one has been affected by mesothelioma.
I would also like whoever keeps sending me the email to know that I was not at Camp Lejeune. Because I get that email at least 5 times a week.
I have no idea what that means.
The Camp Lejeune lawsuit? Yeah, it was bad water. Sorry. Sort of like asbestos, but different.
All right. So we're going to start with Matt here. We're going to start off with bread and butter trivia.
I thought the lowest went first.
Yeah, you said the lowest.
You said the lowest went first. Matt got a natural 20, and now you're trying to... What the hell?
Okay. Oh, you're right. So it was Doc first then, right?
You make up rules the way Storm Rage does.
JustAGuy and Matt.
You make up rules the way Storm Rage does.
All right, yeah, so it's Doc first then. That's fine. Doc, when was the first episode of Bread and Butter published? Within 7 days.
Within 7 days? So I know I worked at the bakery. It was like September 17th.
Nailed it. Right on. There's a point for
nice. Doc. Okay, that was a total guess.
You guessed it perfectly. All right. Steve, who was the first guest on Bread and Butter?
These, if I'd known, I would have studied. Seems. I'm gonna guess it was Hat.
No, we didn't have Hat on. In fact, we were waiting to have Hat on until we kind of established ourselves.
Time of day for a while there. That's true.
Yeah,
I tried to get him on the first episode of my only one episode podcast, and he didn't want to do that.
Actually, we really think the hat would have given us the time of the day, but we wanted to kind of establish ourselves first. It was kind of a conscious thought to let's make sure we're an actual podcast before we bring on hat.
I'm trying to think who it would have been.
Would anybody like to try to steal the point?
Was it Dawn?
Deck Tech? Not Deck Tech.
Excuse me, everyone. That was me. No, I'm joking.
Andrew is living was the answer there.
Wait,
our
was
first
he
guest,
really?
episode 3.
That was a good guest.
And I don't recommend going to listen to that episode because we didn't fix our audio issues for a little while. Like I love the content of the episode, but some of those are hard to listen to. All right, Matt.
Mhm.
What podcast did Bread and Butter do a crossover episode with?
Wasn't it with Blizzlet? Because I know it was wasn't there an episode with Smarms and Storm Rage?
There was, but that really was
That wasn't
I'll
the
give you
technically a
half a point
crossover.
for that because that really wasn't. We had Just a Guy, Smarms, and Daniel on to do a Whose Hat Is It Anyway?
Wasn't it
where
Dr.
they were trying to
3?
replace hat.
Didn't you do a Dr. 3 crossover?
It was.
Yeah, it might have been Dr. because Dawn's Dawn's.
All right.
Yep.
It was
Dawn.
It was. So we're going to give Just a Guy the point there. We're going to give Matt half a point for ambiguity. We also would have given a half a point to Happy Hearthstone because we had both Noodle Swoop and Guy Grumpy on at the same time.
And
It wasn't an official crossover, but it kind of worked.
And Andrew was living, who was a host of the Happy Hearthstone for a while.
Right, but he was not affiliated at the time.
Yes, he passed it along to Guy
Boy, the
Grumpy.
podcast
Yes.
world is circular as hell.
Yep.
Yeah, it sure is.
It's really the same 12 people over and over again, honestly.
All right.
I mean, I was on 2 of them.
Doc.
Yes, you were.
Next question goes to Doc. Doc, how many hosts of Coin Conceit have been on Bread and Butter?
Is it just me, or does it seem that asking Doc Bread and Butter trivia questions seems skewed?
Does it include guest hosts? Or is
No.
it permanent hosts?
Yeah. So if it's just regular hosts, then 3. Because we haven't.
We have had on
Excuse me?
Hat. We have had on Hat, Wicked Good, Magesa, and Edelweiss.
Oh, that's right. I
Mhm.
missed our Megasa episode.
Okay.
All right. So now we're on to Just a Guy. Just a Guy. In episode 25, which we've already referred to.
Oh, that's right. You're just going. That's right.
Yep.
Never mind.
Oh, it's all good. Don't worry. And if you happen to jump ahead of it, we'll roll with what we're malleable here and how the other rules as Just a Guy led to. But in episode 25, we played a game of Whose Hat Is It Anyway? Who won?
Wow. Whose
This
hat
should be
is it
easy
anyway?
for you because not only were you on the episode, your question determined the answer of this
was
question.
that the one that I refused to actually validate anybody as winning for the longest possible time now that I think about it? I think it was Doc then. Was it Doc?
Negative. Anybody want to try to steal?
I don't feel like I can answer this one.
All right, it was Storm Rage.
That's
No
right.
points.
I may have taken
You-
pity
you-
on him.
No, you made a question out there, like so. We gave a bonus question on something about street tacos,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. I think I gave him credit for something. I did. I was on 25 episodes ago. You know, the dementia's bad. It really is. Although, you know what the good thing is? I can watch.
hide your own Easter
You
eggs.
only need about 5 movies on DVD because you never remember them in between episodes. So you're like, oh, the dementia kicked in. I can just rewatch these 5 quality top tier movies without having to own more than that. So it's actually a bonus. There's good things.
I mean,
about
I'm basically become a toddler again, so you just watch the same movie over and over
it.
again.
You used to do that as well, correct?
Yes.
and you can reuse the same Where's Waldo books. All right, Matt, who wrote and performed the Bread and Butter theme?
Isn't that Scoop?
Yep.
Scoop's free.
Hey, yes, it is.
Yeah.
Wait, Bread and Butter has a theme?
Yeah, we don't hear it when we play. That's the biggest thing. We don't hear the theme, which is a really good theme when we're recording. And like, you need to fix that.
So 100%. So I've added sounds today to the soundboard, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to get those. I tried to get them separated from a different soundboard into the mix, and in a way that I can edit it. And I'm having some issues with that. And I don't really want to mess with the audio because audio was bad. But so right now I'm using something else, and I'll edit it in post. But that is part of the plan.
Here's my trick when I host Squelch. I put the drops in my left ear and myself in my right ear. So like I'll record stereo in Audacity, and then I'll split the tracks to mono, and then it'll just be that way.
Yeah.
And so
That's a big brain move there, Matt.
That's some like
podcasting tech tips brought to you by
podcasting tech tips from a guy that occasionally hosts a podcast.
This is where the sausage is made. I have a problem with that because I record in Audacity and I already have the 2-channel things going because I have the full audio for everybody, and then I have my own broken
okay, yeah. Then that becomes difficult.
Wait, you wanted us to record in Audacity? I just
want an MP3.
I have a cassette recorder. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Okay. Just mail it in. Fine. Just mail it in.
Yeah. Just overnight it.
Yeah, that works. All right, so Doc, we're gonna have to give we'll have to skip you for this next question because it's too easy for you. So we'll come back to you in a second. So we're gonna give this one to JustAGuy.
Okay.
JustAGuy, who is Doc's best friend?
There's only one, and I'm sad to say it's probably unrequited. But that would have to be Storm Rage.
That is correct.
I think there was one game night where I think that came out 4 or 5 times. It sounded.
Yeah, it sure did.
My best
there was one episode. There was one the quiz episode.
It was with you.
Yeah, that's
when you were on. That it came up multiple times.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Storm Rage deserves to be somebody's best friend.
Right?
You can't just be Scoob's best friend.
No, but I also really like Scoob because him and I are of a similar build.
Yeah, I was going to try to make that joke when I just couldn't remember the actual line.
He was here. He was here for the pre-BlizzCon party, and at one point I went and sat outside. He came out and sat next to me. I had to go in, and then my wife came out, and I think he was outside chatting with my wife for the better part of 20 minutes, and he survived. It apparently went reasonably well. So good for him.
Yeah, I love Scoob.
I don't think he had the same opinion of me when he came in after talking to my wife for 20 minutes, but he still did okay.
All right, so after the bread and butter round, we have Doc with 1 point, JustAGuy with 2 points, and Matt with 1.5 points. So now we're going into the other Hearthstone podcast, which we will cover a few of these. So, Doc.
Is there an app where we can play this game at home? I'm just wondering.
No, in fact, I actually put effort into this before. Like normally a lot of times show notes happen about a half an hour before the episode. And I'm like, what the hell is our topic going to be? I usually have the topic, but then I have to work things out. I actually worked on this for a while yesterday. Within 10 episodes, what was the first official episode that Smarms was the host on Blizzlet?
Within 10?
Official host as opposed to just sort of being on for several times before they acknowledged it?
Correct. Because Smarms is actually part of the Badass Woman of Hearthstone month. And then then she appeared on a couple episodes when other people weren't around. And then she was officially welcomed on as a host.
I feel like this is going to be wrong. 227.
It is definitely wrong. Anybody like to try to steal?
What number are they even on right now?
They're low 2s. I'm going to say 195.
Wrong.
All right, I still got to give you an answer. I got to give you an answer, don't I? Hold on.
No, you don't have to. You can just say I pass.
You don't lose points for guessing.
I'd say 305.
Oh, that's if they're in threes. No, that's my bad.
Nope. The answer was 276.
Yeah, they're in the low threes. So
according to Price's Right rules, I went over and I automatically disqualified.
You busted, yeah.
All right, but Matt, you're up now. What about Ted's first episode as an official host?
Oh God,
I don't believe Ted is an official host at this point.
Oh man, that's like in the 120s, I think.
Wrong.
Like 125. I'm just gonna put 125.
Doc, that was wrong. What's your guess?
That would be episode 75.
Wrong. JustAGuy.
There's got to be like an encyclopedia of podcasting history that I need to subscribe to. It's probably available at my local library.
Yeah, somebody needs to make the Hearthstone podcast Wikipedia.
This quiz is a combination of some layups and some hard questions.
I'm going to say...
So far, I feel like I'm playing against Wembenyana right now.
I didn't show up until episode 200, so there really is no significant history with that podcast prior to 200 when I turned up. So if I had to say, I'm going to guess 143.
Ted's first episode was 59.
Wow.
Wow.
And no, that was he was actually on before that, I believe. That was his first official host episode. And let's finally wrap up this section with lore. When was Lore's first episode? And I believe we're now on to Doc for the question here.
So I know Lore's first episode was before episode 200 as an official guest because of the gift artwork. I'm going to say episode 137.
Wrong. JustAGuy.
120.
Wrong. Matt.
165.
Matt gets it within 164.
Wow.
Holy
nice.
There was a very dark and brown place I pulled that out of.
I don't want any details on that if you'd avoid it, please.
Get up. Okay, so who are we on to now? We're back on to JustAGuy. JustAGuy, who are the 3 guests of Blizzlet that were on the show before they became members of Team 5?
The 3 guests of Blizzlet? So who guested on Blizzlet before they joined Team 5?
Correct.
Good Lord. We're talking the entire team. So that would be...
See, again, the point was supposed to have teams of people so they could deliberate on these answers. So
that would be one. For
correct.
Sure. Would Deck Tech have been on before getting a gig there? Yeah, I'm going to say Deck Tech.
Yeah, you're right.
And then
the third one's
third one who would have done the show before getting hired. Gallon?
Sorry, that's wrong.
Too big for them. What was I thinking?
Was it Alec?
Would you like to steal?
Was it Alec? No, Alec was never on Blizzlet.
Doc?
Shoot.
Alkali?
There you go, Steve. You got it.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. That's it. Yep.
That should have been the easiest one.
Alkali?
Because the only reason I said Alec because Alec did the Golden Wisp before joining the team. So, and there might have been a point where Golden Wisp and Blizzlet crossed over at some point.
We also don't talk about former Team 5 employees because they're all traitors. They've moved on, and we're going to...
Oh, you mean like Alkali?
They've never existed, yes.
They've never existed.
Gone and forgotten. You leave the team, you're gone.
I mean, Tito, do you have a question of who was on Team 5, guested on Blizzlet, and is no longer on Team 5?
That was a potential question. Would you like to guess it for half point?
So I know Hadija one. I know Joe Mag another one.
Well, actually, nope. So you're wrong there. And so you gain a point, you lose a point. Joe Mag was on the team when he was interviewed and then was no longer on the team. Hadija was after she was no longer on Team 5.
Okay.
So you get a half a point, you lose half a point. What was that?
I don't think Liv was ever on.
I know she did some pods. I don't know if she was ever on Blizzlet.
All right. And our final question, so that was just JustAGuy, right? So we go on to Matt here. Matt, who were the original hosts of Blizzlet?
Storm Rage.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Go ahead and steal Doc.
Storm Rage, Grievous, and Jack My Own Johnson.
Jack My Own Johnson is a point for Doc. Hey, your second point, Doc. Good for you.
That should be 2 points because he took and named 2 other people.
No, but the question was only for 1 point. So we'll give it to you.
Whatever.
Remember, I make up the rules as I go.
True, fair.
JustAGuy.
It's just like Whose Line, where the points don't matter and nobody really keeps score. So
correct. Well, I'm keeping score, but it doesn't matter. All right, Steve. What podcast was MattAtArms a co-host of before Squelch?
boy, this is news to me. We should have talked about this at some point. I'm assuming it wasn't an F1 podcast.
It was a Hearthstone podcast.
It was a Hearthstone podcast?
They had 300 episodes. I was on like about 75 of them.
Holy cow. You understand that, again, I didn't even understand that podcasts existed until episode 200 of Blizzlet. So therefore, again, by the rule I live by, anything that existed prior to that doesn't matter and doesn't really exist. I'm afraid I won't be able to answer that one.
No, that's fine.
I'm going to say it was like something like 2 white guys talking Hearthstone.
That was more like 3.
3
or 4
white guys talking Hearthstone.
There you go.
Hero Power Rangers?
Just a hero. You don't do the Rangers. That was the THL
Oh, that was your THL name.
Which was like one of my favorite names I've ever came up with.
That was a great name.
All right. We're on to Matt now because we kind of had to jump around a little bit depending on the answers here. What podcast has Just a Guy never sworn on between Blizzlet, Squelch, and Bread and Butter?
Blizzlet.
That's right.
Because I know because I had to quack Just a Guy because I was editing that episode.
And so. I had we've had to quack Just a Guy here too. And actually that was going to be what podcast has Just a Guy never sworn on? But actually Just a Guy has been on several podcasts and a couple of them he hasn't sworn on. I don't believe he swore on.
And the thing is, I don't know how that actually ended up happening on Squelch. I tell you what, I don't work blue. I really don't. I mean, I don't have to censor myself. I don't have to censor myself. I don't have to think before I speak. I really don't use language like that almost ever. But damn, whatever was going on that day, it just for some reason
I don't think the swear was.
It wasn't that bad.
It wasn't like the F word. It was
Squelch level swears.
Yeah, like it was like
it was like, oh no, we're working PG. Too many of those, and we got to go R. It's like, no, we don't.
Yeah, exactly. Like we were well within the limit of PG-13, but like we need to keep it PG.
I think subconsciously I did it just to mess with Storm Rage because he's like, you've been on Blizzlet and you never swear, but you come here and it's like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you.
And I do believe you have dropped the F-bomb on Bread and Butter. Well, I have to double check.
Anything's possible. Sometimes you know what, Tito? I'm a passionate man. And again, we've mentioned the dementia and the Alzheimer's issues. So sometimes you forget where you are. That's what happened on Squelch. I saw Storm Rage, and of course, inherently thought I was on Blizzlet. And sometimes you just sort of don't think.
All right. So currently, the score right now is Doc 3 points, Just a Guy 3 points, and Matt 3.5 points.
Damn.
And I know we just asked Just a Guy the
last
last
question. I hope this game doesn't go to 10.
No. We're working on it. All right, Just a Guy, I know we just went to you for a question, but we're going back to you for this question. On Squelch, put the names to the following hosts: the Diablo Guy, the Warlock Guy, and Canadian.
Good God, you expect me to actually pay attention to the podcast that I occasionally guest on? Well, the Diablo Guy, the what?
The Warlock
guy.
Okay, so the Diablo Guy, that's got to be Storm Rage. I should know this.
Oh, this is like actually, yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Doc.
Diablo Guy, Dano.
Mm-hmm.
Warlock Guy, Matt. And then Canadian Guy, Enthrallment.
Yeah. There you go.
And then best friend, Storm Rage.
Okay, now I've never been on with Enthrallment, although he seems like a lovely individual.
Do you think the fact that you've never been on with Enthrallment is unintentional?
It was never intentional. I had to sort of guilt my way on the one time that Squelch invited me. So I think you were short a person that day. So I sort of went, hey, if you want some company, I could join you.
Yeah, the only time we do guests is when Dan doesn't show up. That's the way it works. Because I'm like just like, hey, can you want to join the podcast? That's how we got Doc on, right? It's like so.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Doc, what was the origin of the rabbit hole meme?
I believe it was. I can't remember. I believe it was a Blue Text forum and not a Reddit thread of the algorithm being made to so you go 50-50 in Blizzard matchmaking.
You have the context right, but you have the source of it wrong. Matt, do you want to answer, or do you want me to pass to JustAGuy first?
JustAGuy looks like he's walking away from the chair, so I'm going to go ahead and answer.
I just want to know if doing an entire quiz on inside joke stuff is going to leave the audience engaged enough in all of this where there's going to be anybody left at the end of this. I'm just concerned.
That's okay.
I mean, that's fair.
I think wasn't it a Reddit criticism?
No, it was actually a tweet from.
Was it? Okay.
I don't know. I forget the name of the tweeter. I forget the name of the tweeter, but I remember they were Sliss's editor.
I'll give you a point for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that
isn't his name like Brock something?
No, it's like
it's Ben.
Or Ben.
It's Ben.
Oh,
it's Ben. That's
3,
right.
2, 1.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I looked for the tweet the other day because Dan and I were talking about it, and I'm like,
you know why you were talking about it the other day?
Yeah, because Dan told me things.
If the Podcasters Atlas showed up at my house after I ordered it, I'd have all of these answers at my fingertips.
That's fair.
It's the Podcasters Encyclopedia. Yeah.
All right.
The Hearthstone Podcaster. Yes. Anyway.
Matt, what is the average time it takes from when Dano sets up a joke and then delivers the punchline?
At least 6 months, right?
That's absolutely right.
6 months is correct. It actually takes 6 months before he realizes he didn't deliver on the punchline like he thought he had.
And it has to be on a different podcast.
Yeah.
It's the best part.
It's like connecting the dots throughout the universe.
It's like the MCU of Dan humor. That's what it is.
It's one of the greatest things I can think of at any moment in time. Just fantastic.
All right, Doc. What's red and bad for your teeth?
A brick.
There you go.
To the mouth.
Yeah, brick to the mouth.
God, all right. And so we're on to Steve's.
That was like a month of that joke. I don't understand.
All right, Steve. When was Ridiculous Hat's first appearance on Coin Conceit?
You know, Ridiculous Hat isn't in my list of favorite people this week. He's been a little bit, I don't know. I offered him meatballs at my party, and then for some reason, I don't know if the meatballs were bad or not, but he ended up dropping into the Discord and pointing out that apparently the reason that I enjoy control decks so much is because apparently I don't have any actual knowledge or skill playing the game. So I don't want to say that he's wrong because he's not, but I did think that calling me out for that in front of everyone was a little bit impolite. I actually reported him to the Hearthstone devs upstairs, and both of them refused to do anything about it. But having said that, I would say that his first episode was like 75.
Jesus. It was actually 71. It will give you the point there.
Incredible.
Yeah, he was a guest, wasn't he? He was a guest on that show.
He was a guest. The episode title was Hat Trick.
No meatballs for Hat ever again.
And to be fair, he probably should have got that because Cora and Cinder were the hosts that time when I was on the episode. All right, Matt, name JustAGuy's computer business.
Oh, Computer Greeks. That's an easy one.
Okay. What franchise chain was it a part of before setting off on its own?
Yeah, good luck with that. Although I did include that video in posts previously, the commercials that I ran early on.
Was it Software Etc.? No.
Good guess, though.
No,
I remember that.
It was Cyber Exchange.
I was going to say, I didn't know the name, but I know it's on here.
It's on the flash drive I gave you in the gift bag from the party.
And you know what?
That's hilarious.
I didn't know there were gift bags. I would have gone out there.
That gift bag is on my desk. And whenever,
somebody left the gift bag behind. I don't know who it was, but someone was so disrespectful.
It was Daniel.
With the gift bag that I gave them that they left it behind. I was really, really
when in
offended.
doubt, blame Daniel.
Yeah.
All right, Doc.
That's what we do on Squelch.
Doc, who was the guest on the longest episode of Play for Tempo, whose tagline is 30 minutes or less guaranteed?
30 minutes or less, Schwal?
Oh, he's a host. Who is the
guest?
Who's the guest? Yes.
I don't know.
JustAGuy, you want to take a stab?
Tempo. How much time do you think I have to listen to podcasts? I'm genuinely interested.
You are retired, aren't you?
I am not retired. Just because everybody thinks I do nothing. My wife goes off to work, comes home, and thinks I've literally been sitting around the entire day. I own a business I opened in 1996, and it's 2,000 miles away. Do you know how hard it is to try to run a business that far with smoke signals and the telegraph? It's really hard. I don't know. I'm afraid I'm going to have to go back to drinking. Sorry.
I'm going to have to answer this. It's hat.
Yes, and it was the episode.
Because it was like a Ungoro retrospective, right? Wasn't it? The Ungoro
was the second longest. The episode that was longest was the retrospective on Witchwood, and that lasted 2 hours and 19 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, I have the third longest episode. I know that.
Is that what we're doing now?
Episode.
Is that what we're doing? We're measuring the length of episodes. Everybody just whipping their episode out. Just whipping their episode out and going, look how long my episode was.
So I think we're on the JustAGuy here for first one. Who has the most guest appearances on Walk to Work?
Oh, good God. You know what? There's a vagrant about a block from his house that when he walks by, usually sort of grunts or asks for money. I think he's been on multiple times.
That might be true, but that's false. Matt, how about you?
It might be true, but it's false.
I'm going to say the train.
True,
the train shows up a bunch, but the real answer is really Mongoose.
Or we would have also taken Le Mongoose. So that is his daughter.
Yes.
Congratulations. Good show there. We have two more questions in the other podcast section, and then we're on to Hearthstone trivia.
Oh no.
Do we have a section in this trivia game where we talk about like computer components and the evolution of the industry, where you're actually going to ask me like what year, like solid state drives turned up? I'm just wondering how much I'm going to be able to actually participate.
We could do that.
No, nobody cares about Windows ME.
I mean, for those in the back of the class that don't know what year SSDs came out, do you want to tell us?
We can talk about what my gross revenue was back in 1997. I could bring those numbers up if you really wanted to guess. But
no, but what I do want to know is, Doc, who is JustAGuy's number one nemesis?
Evil Ray.
Negative. Steve?
I hit him with a car once, so I'm going to say me.
Negative. Matt?
I have no idea. The train. No, it's every podcaster's nemesis. It's the blower guy.
Yeah, that is absolutely right. Anyone with a leaf blower.
The blower guy?
It's the nemesis of every podcaster. Somebody outside with a leaf blower.
I thought you were talking about like a fluffer.
Wrong podcast.
Wrong podcast. Yeah.
All right, Steve. There's a train station at the end of most of Ray's walks. What is the name of this train station?
I need to bring up a map of Melbourne now.
Well, you're going to be way off then.
Okay, we'll pass to
Sydney.
Matt.
Sorry, map of Sydney now. Map of Sydney. I need to... Train station. I need to know the name. Good Lord. Who researched these questions? I don't. I'm going to have to pass. I'm sorry.
Matt?
Isn't the South Sydney train station?
Negative. Doc?
I have no idea.
It's Milson Point Station.
Yeah, as we Doc's Blister Guy here.
And does anybody have...
When he was 18 years old, Blister Guy had a tiny surgical procedure to remove some melanoma. Do you remember the name of the doctor that he went to for that procedure?
Well, do you know what landmark is visible from the Milson Point Station?
Sydney Opera House.
Close.
Not the Sydney Opera House.
The Sydney Harbor Bridge?
That is correct. Matt gets a point.
That's the only two I know. I just had a 50-50 shot.
I feel like those are
there.
like the only two structures that exist in Australia.
Don't they have like the world's largest kangaroo or something? There's got to be something like
don't they have like
down the
like a
like
fiberglass
an 80-foot
kangaroo
statue
somewhere
of Steve Irwin?
Yeah.
I mean, they don't have iconic things like the cars on a spike in Cicero, right?
Oh, that's awesome.
Right.
Is that? Yeah. So
again, Steve, part of the plan was to have you paired up with somebody in this quiz.
We actually could answer these questions. That would be helpful.
I don't
what you're
think
saying
even
is,
if we were in teams, we would have been able to.
what you're
figure
saying
this
is
out.
that I can blame my poor showing on Dawn not being here. Okay.
Yes. So
Yep.
At the end of round 2, Doc has 5 points, JustAGuy has 4 points, and Matt has 8.5 points.
Yeah.
Jeez, Pete, it's all about round 3.
All right.
It is
yes,
all
it's
about round three.
Wait, there's another
Um,
round.
Well, we're almost done. This is a shorter round. Doc, who is known for the phrase 29 for sure? This is Hearthstone trivia.
Oh, I love this one.
29 for sure. I feel like it's a streamer, but I don't know which one.
Right.
Trump?
Okay, passing to JustAGuy. That's wrong.
Rainad. Is it
Rainad,
not
look at
Rainad?
you.
I actually had some reference to that. Yeah.
A bonus half point if you can say who he was talking with.
Oh, please go ahead, Matt.
It's Firebat.
It's Firebat.
And Eloise as well.
And
Eloise is
Eloise,
there
but
too.
she wasn't the one also saying 29 for sure. She was like basically at the end, like, I knew it
29
wasn't
for
29.
sure. 29 for sure. It's one of my favorite Hearthstone moments ever.
It is. Okay, Steve, in a game considered as one of the greatest games of Hearthstone ever played, who were the competitors in the Freeze Mage Mirror back at BlizzCon in 2005?
2005?
I'm sorry, 2015.
It was 2015. Was it 2014 or 2015?
2015.
Sure it was 2015?
Yes. At least as far as the internet, if it's not lying to me.
Again,
I know.
streaming and podcasting didn't exist until about 2 years ago.
Okay, Matt. Matt passes to you.
If you're talking about the Miss Lethal at BlizzCon,
No, we're talking about the Freeze Mage Mirror.
yeah, whereas Wreckful versus Crip.
Negative. Doc?
I have no clue.
It is
I'm going to say Tice
versus
and
Tice.
Ascaka. Yeah.
Oh, actual competitive Hearthstone, not like pre-beta Hearthstone.
Right. And I think
Because
Googled.
I thought you were talking about Wreckful Crip, where like Wreckful misses Lethal at BlizzCon, which became a huge meme. May Wreckful forever rest in peace.
Yep.
Fair enough. All right. So who does this come to now? Who was that originally? I just asked.
Yes, just a guy.
Right? Okay. Matt. Now at Hearthstone Dev in 2019, Gallon took second place at the Masters Tour held in Las Vegas. Who did he lose to?
It was America. It was a Masters Tour.
It was a Masters Tour held in Las Vegas.
Oh God, that's so long ago.
I've watched episodes of Jeopardy that didn't have questions this hard.
Was it Luna at that time?
Negative. Doc, you got a guess?
Just saying.
Negative. JustAGuy? Without Googling?
I'm going to use my phone a friend. But I don't have any friends, so I can't phone them. Can I use another lifeline? I would like to mulligan this question and go back to computer components for 200, Alex.
Okay, the answer there was dog.
Oh.
Okay. What is dog? You have to say you don't get points unless you say, what is dog?
What is dog? No, that was like when dog finally broke through and won and then decided to not do that anymore.
Dog was invited to Grandmasters and then decided like, yeah, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, he did 1 month, one season of it, right? And then he was like, I make way more money just doing my own thing. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
And
also he's
all right.
He's doing very well for himself.
Doc, when did Hearthstone drop the Heroes of Warcraft?
Oh goodness. 2016?
2016. You get a bonus point if you can tell me the month.
Oh wow. I thought it was later than that.
April.
Negative. The answer was November. But you get a point for the year. JustAGuy, what is the rule of D? Remember, we are not on Blizzard.
If they ask for it, you have to give it to them.
And what is it?
The D. You have to give them the D.
And what does the D stand for?
He cannot say it in his own house, I don't think.
Yeah.
You can't say it in your own house? I think it's worth it.
My children are running around. They're sensitive types. No. Just put it up as a subtitle. They'll get it.
Well, I'm sorry. That's not enough of an answer. Matt, can you answer this?
Yeah. So, if somebody says the word, the alternative word for sugar bagel, which I'm not going to say either because I don't want to buy people sugar bagels. They have to go out and buy sugar bagels. And sugar bagels are, if you're not aware, are just donuts.
There we go. Bonus. So that's a point right there. Bonus question on that one: who makes decisions regarding the rule of D?
I think
isn't there like a council of D?
Isn't it a consensus?
That's absolutely right.
It's a consensus.
I remember that whole episode with Hidija, the whole episode with Hidija about the whole rule. That was such a great Blizzard episode.
All right. Doc. Oh no, that's actually down to Matt, even though he got that one because I think we start with JustAGuy there. What is Deck Tech's official title at Blizzard?
Who are you asking this? Sorry.
You.
Oh, me. Oh, geez. He's like something writing. He's a writer of
like
some sort.
Copywriter.
Correct. Yeah. And in fact, there's no social media in his name.
Nope.
Doc, how many seasons of BGs have there been?
How many seasons of BGs? 5?
That's absolutely correct. JustAGuy. What was the name of the first official BG season? We're almost done here.
I'm going to guess season 1.
Matt?
I mean, that would have been my answer too. So I'm going to go ahead and pass that along.
Doc?
Season 1.
Answer was Rise of the Naga. No points awarded.
We're Naga going to get that.
Yeah.
All
right.
I got to hit the low-hanging fruit when I can.
What Hearthstone set was the Discover keyword introduced? If only you
Discover's been around for a while, a long while. Wow. Cora, what Hearthstone expansion was the keyword Discover introduced? What?
Phone a daughter now.
League of Explorers.
That's absolutely correct.
And
10
I
out of
didn't
10.
have phone a friend. I just yell upstairs.
We're going to give you 2 points for that, for getting a dev onto the show tangentially. All right. So we're moving into the final round, which is only one question. But so the current score right now is Doc has 7, JustAGuy has 7, and Matt has 12. So
Jeez.
Right now, okay. So now we're going to start.
At this point, I'm happy.
We have one question left.
Oh, go ahead.
So this is the final round.
It's worth at least 10 points, right?
Is this a 10-point question?
Yeah.
No,
which pretty much nullifies the rest of the game.
Well,
exactly. It's all about round 3.
There's potential there. So we're going to start off with Doc since he goes first, and we're going to go around.
This is a multi-point question, and part of it is an essay. Let me get a pad of paper and a pen. Go ahead.
Yes. No. So each person, it was supposed to be teams, but each person names a official Hearthstone keyword according to the official Hearthstone card library. And then we go on around, and if you can't name one, you lose a point, but everyone you name, you get a point, and you can't do duplicates. So I have them all here. This is according to the official library. So, Doc, go ahead.
The library
Lifesteal.
of, like, Congress has things
Lifesteal, Doc's the point. JustAGuy.
There's so many. Divine Shield.
All right. Matt.
Battle Cry.
Battle Cry, yes. Doc.
Death Rattle.
Death Rattle, yes. Getting the easy ones out of the way early. JustAGuy.
Taunt.
Taunt, yes. Matt.
Stealth.
Stealth, yes. Doc.
Charge.
Charge, yes. Even though they don't want to have that anymore. Yes.
They printed a charge
one.
card.
Oh, that's right. JustAGuy.
Rush, the way they meant
The
charge
new
to work.
charge.
The way they meant charge to work.
Matt.
Inspire.
Inspire, yes. Doc.
Reborn.
Reborn, yes. All right, just a guy.
Actually, one of my favorites, Forge. I really like
Oh, you just went
the
all the way
anvil. The
around.
anvil that hits. I think it actually.
Yeah,
is
that
visually-
animation's beautiful.
It's very cool.
Agreed.
All
Matt.
right. I'm gonna go back to classic and go to combo.
Combo, yes.
Ooh.
Matt, you should be saving these for ones that they'll forget because you probably have the best memory out of all of them. Doc.
Quick draw.
Quick draw, yes.
Yeah, that's recent, isn't it?
That is. Just a guy.
Oh, now we're just going backwards.
Inspire.
Remember.
Sorry, that was already used.
Oh, sorry. We inspired. Can we inspire
Inspired.
more than once?
Nope.
I mean,
Finale.
Finale.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Matt.
all right. Magnetic.
Magnetic,
Nice.
yes.
Super fun.
Doc.
I love magnetic.
Poisonous.
Poisonous, yes. Just a guy.
Current one, excavate.
Ooh.
Excavate, yes. Smart. Matt.
Corpse.
Corpse,
Corpse
yes.
is a keyword. Oops.
According to the official Hearthstone
Yeah, it is
dictionary,
for.
yes.
It is for. Yep.
Doc.
Venomous.
Venomous.
Which became
No, that's only
poisonous.
in Battlegrounds.
That's only a BG's keyword.
No.
Sorry.
Poisonous.
So
Darn it.
Doc has been eliminated. Just a guy.
Trying to think of cards and what they do. I play them or don't play them. Frenzy.
There we go. Frenzy. Matt.
Spellburst.
Spellburst. Yes. Just a guy.
Mana Thirst.
Mammoth. I thought you said Mammoth. I'm like, I don't know. Remember Mammoth. Manathurst. Yes.
Thirst.
Matt.
Titan.
Titan. Yes.
There's no way.
Just a guy.
Keyword that we haven't already. From Sunken City, Dredge.
There we go. You had to dredge that one up. Matt.
Yeah. Also from Sunken City, Colossal.
Colossal. Yes. Just a guy.
Sorry. I'm a nerd.
Don't you be sorry for that, Matt.
Oh hell. I'm gonna have to say that's probably all. No.
All right.
Active keywords. You play the card and it does some stuff. Nope, my brain's empty.
All right. So Matt, that goes to you. The ones you missed were
Wait, Matt has
Yeah.
to come up with one to win.
Yeah, I have to come up with one to
Yes,
win.
come up-
Unfortunately, I got one. I found I think I found the worst keyword to end on because it takes like an elevator. Like it takes 5 minutes to explain. Invoke.
Invoke, yes. So the ones you guys missed, or not missed, didn't get to, were Adapt, Corrupt, Counter,
Yeah.
Echo,
Corrupt.
Honorable Kill, Immune, Infuse, Wacky, Mega Wind Fury, Outcast, Overheal, Overkill, Overload, Questline, Secret, Quest, Side Quest, Silence, Spare Parts, Spell Damage, Start of Game, Tradable, Wind Spell, and Wind Fury.
Start of game. Boy, if you'd come up with start of game, I would have been really impressed at that.
All right, so
I completely I probably would have got there eventually, and then
all right, so Matt was the winner with 22 points. Just the guy came in second with 16 points, and Doc a near third with 13. So
Nice.
And tell Matt what he's won.
Matt has won a future guest appearance whenever he would like.
oh dear.
That was a lot. I know that was a little long, but I was kind of gonna, I had a different plan. We kind of made adjustments here, which is fine. But Doc, I'm a little full, but I think there's room for dessert. What do you think?
Yeah, dessert sounds good. And speaking of dessert, JustAGuy, what is your favorite dessert?
Like trying to narrow it down to one. No. It does.
Candied meatballs.
We did just have cranberry meatballs with far too much cranberry, and it was a little too cranberry. You know what? I'll tell you what. One of my very favorite dessert flavors that nobody else in my family will touch is banana. So like typically like banana cream pie. A friend of ours used to make a banana trifle with like the vanilla wafers in it and everything. That was delicious. And as I was in the grocery store the other day, I actually ran into a new Pop-Tart flavor. It is frosted banana bread.
I might have to try that one.
Have not cracked it open yet. It's in my cupboard. But I would go with. I really do enjoy banana. As far as the single dessert, Baker Square used to have a French silk cream cheese.
Oh, that was so good.
It was a cheesecake on the bottom with a French apple pie on top of it, and was just phenomenal, just incredible.
I miss Baker Square.
Oh my god, dude! I got thrown out. Originally, Baker Square was poppin' fresh. In case nobody recalls that far back, and in high school, being ill-behaved with a group of my friends in a poppin' fresh, we actually got thrown out and banned. So I'm never allowed in the Poppin' Fresh in Palos Heights, Illinois, ever again. I'm assuming that probably goes for the Baker Square that actually closed several years ago.
Whatever is there now, which is probably much worse than a Baker Square.
And Matt, what is your favorite dessert?
If your answer isn't French apple cream cheese.
No, I think I might have answered this last time I was on, but like it's key lime pie. Key lime pie is the way to go. Like a good graham cracker crust, key lime pie, and then like key lime curd or whatever it's in there, whatever that is, custard-ish thing, and like a good whipped cream.
But a real key lime, not the Jello.
But a real like a real like
one.
No, not like a yellow food coloring. No, like a green, dark, like a almost dark green key lime pie.
Tart.
Like, real tart, and like you just go bite it and it's sweet and you go
good choice.
Yeah, it's good.
You also like jet skis.
Honestly, yeah. That's like hands like that's like on my deathbed. If I have anything, if choice of one thing to eat, it's gonna be that.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
So listeners, if you've survived this far, please leave us a review on Spotify and iTunes. It really helps out the show with visibility. We'd appreciate it. And if you do, we'll read it out on the show. JustAGuy, where can people find you?
Oh, good Lord. I'm still active on, apparently, Twitter Elon just changed the name of that platform to X, formerly known as Twitter, because nobody ever refers to it as X. It's literally in everything on the news or in a report or a news story, whatever. It's always just referred to as X, formerly known as Twitter. So nice job there, Elon. Good call on that. What'd you lose? 40 billion so far on that acquisition? Good for you. You can find me on Twitter at JustAGuy66. You can occasionally find me posting a video or two every now and then on my YouTube channel. Tito knows any minute now I'm going to hit the button and turn the camera on and start streaming. So you'll probably be able to find me on Twitch really soon, streaming stuff, which I'm sure I'm going to do any minute. Just to piss you off, Tito. Just when I turn up and it's like I'll have done a bunch of Twitch streams and you'll be like, "What the hell?" Just to make you mad.
It wouldn't make me mad. It would make me glad. Because you did all that work to set up for it, and I've been saying you'd be great.
I know. I don't know. I'm just not sure I'm personable enough. I don't know if I can talk well enough. I speak good, maybe not. It's a grind. Don't you guys, doing a 2-hour podcast takes a long time, and some of you do more than one of those, and that's just awful. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know how you stream. Storm Rage is just multiple pods, and then he streams and wants people to show up there, and you gotta visit him every now and then just to encourage him. And then he does all the extra stuff in his life with like
Yeah, he's
it's just doing improv on top of it. It's like, dude, once in a
to
while
be
you need
young
to lay
again.
down and just sort of connect with how badly your life is. You need to schedule time for being sort of introspective and depressed. It's just that takes up a lot of time. You got to figure out where to fit that into your day.
It is amazing how much you can accomplish without a wife and children.
Okay, I wasn't going to go there, but go ahead. Run the poor man down.
Right?
How about yourself, Matt? Where can we find you?
He does have
find
Doc as his best friend, though. So that's...
Yep, and I only live 2 hours away, so I can go visit him if I need to.
You can find me on the platform formerly known as Twitter at MattAtArms. I'm there sometimes. I'm on Blue Sky as well. Find me there because I'm there more often. And I don't talk about Hearthstone on Blue Sky. I just talk about random crap that comes to mind. And also in also in the good Hearthstone Discords. I'm in the as well. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
Thank you. Tito, where can people
and
find
Squelch Podcast. I should say that. I'm on Squelch Podcast. If that wasn't clear at the beginning on the show.
And you can find me on Twitter and Twitch at Tito Santana HS, and also here for hopefully another 50 episodes at least. Doc, how about yourself?
Quick question. If you had to have what was scheduled to be 5 people on your 50th episode, does that mean we can expect 10 people to be on your 100th?
Oh God.
I just want to know how much time to allot for that, and how much do I need a bigger monitor to be able to fit all those little insects, 10 people to be showing up on this. I'm just wondering, just want to plan ahead.
It'll probably be 12 so we can play an official game of Hollywood Squares.
Oh God.
I mean, that's honestly the best idea.
If you can get Paul Lind, I'll show
up. I'll be the bottom right square. Can I be the bottom right square?
Absolutely.
Matt's a bottom. Sweet. There you go. Confirm.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can edit that out or not.
What?
No, leave that in. It was good. Good comedy.
Doc, where can people find you?
I don't want to be the center. I don't want to be. There's too much pressure on the center square, right? Like the center square is like the most critical square in Hollywood Squares, and you have to be like funny all the time, and that's impossible. So like Storm Rage would be a decent center square, right? Or Smarms would be a great center square. Because, either one of those two, great. Me, I'll just be bottom right.
I can think of a lot of things that come to mind. I'm not going to say any of them.
I mean, like, we can start building the squares now with the current Hearthstone community. It'd be fun. That's actually, maybe we do that. Like build that. I don't know. Anyway, sorry, I'm distracting everyone.
No, you're perfectly fine, my man.
Maybe I can actually try to figure out. Maybe we can organize something like that. That could be a fun little one-off kind of thing.
The biggest problem is trying to get everybody's schedule, getting 11, 12 people together for a schedule. Like it's bad enough. Like I'm trying to get 4 people to play Commander over a webcam.
We'll figure it out. I like this. Doc, where can people find you? I asked for the 5th time now, I think.
Yeah. You can find me on Twitter and sometimes on Twitch at Doc McButt. You can also find me on the Bizkit podcast for anyone who has listened to that before. You can also...
That was the greatest thing that nobody else has listened to ever.
Yeah. The amount of
I even came up with a theme song. I came up with a damn theme song for that.
All right.
It was fantastic.
Spell the name of the podcast because I want to start listening to this.
It's just Bizkit it's Bizkit but with Z's.
Oh, is this the one thing where Blizzard was out for a week?
Yes.
And
we made fun of it. Was basically just riffing on Daniel the whole time.
Radio podcast. Yeah, that's right.
I did the theme song with the actual. This is what I thought the lyrics of the Blizzlet theme were, and it's just fantastic.
I mean,
yeah, I remember that now.
It's like Blizzlet, but it's a similar build at least. Not quite the same.
Yeah, they're similar build.
I'm not sure anybody who listened to it noticed that it wasn't the regular Blizzlet episode. That might be why.
It was just very on. It was just very on brand.
All right, JustAGuy, do you have any shout outs this week that you'd like to?
You know what? I'll tell you what. I will. I will, and I don't always sort of give them the credit because I've had some issues sort of obviously with the way things have gone with the company over time. And I don't necessarily lean into it too much, obviously for selfish reasons. But BlizzCon was an amazing event. It was my first. I've never been to one before. So I certainly was sort of expecting a lot, and it was an amazing weekend. And seeing the amount of effort and the amount of time that they put into just, I mean, somebody's garage somewhere has to house all those giant statues. It just, you know, that place was incredible, and being able to go there and experience that for everybody who got to come in and being able to meet everybody, it was really cool. So I do want to shout out, believe it or not, Blizzard and everybody who works there. That made that possible, because it really was one of those things you'll just never forget.
Sadly, they used to store all their statues in a blimp hanger. So
yeah, that's unfortunate.
I'm glad they were at the convention center when that happened.
I can park my car on the road and give them a little bit of room in our garage, but there isn't going to be that much.
I mean, just have the big Sylvana statue on your front lawn. That'd be nice. I don't think your HOA would like that, though.
The HOA doesn't like anything I do at this point. So
no.
I when we moved in here, we had a history because we had a townhome before the house we moved from, and things did not go well because being young and obviously the most intelligent human being in the room at any given moment, I was not interested in having somebody tell me what color my storm door could be. So that didn't go well. When we moved here, I went, anything they say I can't do, I'll take it down and fix it. And that's the way I've been doing it. I am not getting in mess with them ever again. Not a problem.
Fair enough. How about yourself, Matt? Do you have any shout outs you'd like to do this week?
Shout out you guys, because 50 is a bunch of episodes and keeping it consistent is a lot of work.
Okay, that was way better than somebody. Mine.
No, I don't. Well, I mean, I'm glad you didn't take it, because I would have sounded stupid if you did. Because that was my shout out. So yeah, to y'all, congrats on 50 episodes.
Thank
Hopefully you get 50 and more, because you know,
it is a heck of a job.
There's always, it's, you know, the Hearthstone podcast scene is like, we're pretty tight knit, honestly, for the most part. Like, you know, and just glad to have more people to talk with and kind of, you know, show up on other shows and have fun with. So
it was really intimidating at first to even think about doing this, because there are already so many great shows out there. To try to like stick our own faces in there and try to establish a spot was kind of daunting. And we've had a lot of great support from just about everybody in the community. So thank you very much.
Yeah. No, the fact that you also found your niche so quickly, like just being the podcast show or being the interview show, like honestly, has been great. You know, you have your regular rotating guests and you have some great people in the community coming on, and people you usually don't hear in podcast form, which is great. Like, you know, Zeddy, Warshak, you know, a whole bunch of people, you know, so shout out to y'all for kind of finding your niche and doing a good show.
Thank you.
So
thank you so much. Doc, how about yourself? Do you get any shout outs this week?
Yeah, so it's kind of a two-parter. First shout out is to every guest we've ever had onto the show. Because all of our guests help make the show, because that's just kind of what we do. And like without you, just two guys talking, and all you guests make it significantly more interesting to hear your points of view on everything. And then my second part of the shout out is to JustAGuy. Thank you so much for hosting your BlizzCon party. That was such a great time. I absolutely loved it. And you're a fantastic host. And no matter what Cora and Sage say, never stop making goodie bags, because those were incredible.
Well, I have to, at some point, I'll have to release my movie choices that I bundled onto that flash drive for everybody. But that's very nice of you to say. I did put in some time and effort, because I was, you know, really looking forward to everybody coming in. And, you know, I don't know when we'll get a chance to do that again. So it was nice. I'm glad it went well. There was, you know, a minor fight while it was here. No, everything was great. You know, for a Thursday night that everybody traveled in and had to, you know, wake up from naps and drink a can of Red Bull to be able to function. It was really nice to see everybody. So that was pretty cool. I'm sorry that two of you on the screen right now weren't able to attend, because it would have been nice to see you as well. But you know what, given a choice between, you know, Dawn, Doc, And you two? I got the 2 that worked, so it was okay.
No arguments here.
Mm-hmm.
And to wrap things up, I'd like to. You were done, Doc, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I would like to shout out to the folks that helped me with the quiz, which would be Deck Tech, Dano, Storm Rage, Blister Guy, and Schwal, who all contributed. Like to shout out to poor Smarms, who apparently can't talk right now. We were trying to get her onto this because she would have been a barrel of hoots. But obviously, for some reason, she can't talk right now, and that's going to be hard to do podcasting. So I hope she gets better soon. And Matt and Doc, really, you guys, I can't emphasize enough how important our just having guests on and everyone that's been on the show. And we've had like Matt said, we've had some great people, some people you might not have heard from, like Ant and Zeddy and Chanman. And we've had
Chanman is
Super Blind Man
throwback.
Super Blind Man. We've had some great guests that hopefully you never heard from. We're still gonna get more guests that are kind of new to the scene. We had Peaceful Sea a few weeks ago. We're gonna have Jay This Week in Hearthstone on pretty soon. We'll have
He's
Dawn
great.
back on. He is great. We'll have Dawn back on next week. Hopefully if she's feeling well, and we have lots of plans. So thank you, everybody, and thank you for everybody for indulging a little of inside jokes here. I hope you're still here. Hopefully it was a little funny, but if not, let me know. I'll write a different quiz next time. But anyway, I think that's it for us. I think we're toast. We'll see you later.
Bye-bye.
Slide two brothers meet one another when they slide up to the mic. It's bread and butter with one another. Let's start up that recording light.